Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And I figure, what the heck, let's do a completely random ranking of a series that hasn't seen a new movie in a couple years, but one that we've been watching through and I wanted to talk about. This is the Hunger Games franchise. I have finally finished all 5 movies and I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this series. So what we're going to do today is just a rank and review. I will go through these from my least favorite movie all the way up to my favorite in the franchise and just give you some quick thoughts about each of the movies. So that's what we're doing today. It's time for another rank and review of the Hunger Games franchise. Before we get started, I do just want to throw out a major spoiler warning here. I plan to talk probably about all aspects of the film, and frankly, it's really hard to talk about the 4th movie in the franchise without talking about what happened in the 1st movie, so just expect that this video is going to contain spoilers for the entire Hunger Games franchise. So if you don't care about spoilers, or if you've already seen all these, then let's keep moving. Admittedly, I have no idea what most people consider the best movie in the franchise and the worst film in the franchise. I just don't know what the general consensus is, but for my money, there's one movie in this franchise that is just straight up bad, in my opinion, and that is the prequel. This is The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and this is from 2023, directed by Francis Lawrence. This movie I can say very little positive about, but I will say I thought Rachel Zegler did an excellent job in this. I love her voice, and she does do quite a bit of singing in this. I mean, that's her role. She is an artist, a singer in this movie, and I think she does a great job with it. Frankly, it's the only reason I want to see Snow White, if I'm being honest with you. I think she's a great actress, but outside of that, I just found this entire film such a slog to get through. It's not that long. It's like an hour or like 2.5 hours. Yeah, 157 minutes. But man, it felt like a 5-hour film. It just would not end. And we got to a point about 3/4 of the way through that I thought, well, this is it. This is the end of it. But no, it was not nearly the end. Like a whole nother section of the film happens. And I just found that so exhausting to watch. Everything about the Hunger Games that I've loved coming up into this movie, because I did watch them in release order, of course, and everything I love about the Hunger Games franchise is just thrown out the window with this. There's characters that I just don't care that much about. There is, the special effects in this are not noteworthy at all, which honestly could have a lot to do just with the setting, because we're going back in time. So the games themselves are not quite to the level that they are when we get to the original Hunger Games, but still, just nothing impressive in there really at all with the special effects. And I don't care about this story whatsoever. We find out, shocker, that eventual President Snow is kind of a sociopathic piece of crap. No kidding. Like, we knew that from the beginning of this franchise. I didn't need a prequel to reiterate that fact. Like, it felt like just such a meaningless and useless prequel to me. Look at something like Wicked, and at this point I feel like I'm becoming a Wicked stan because I love the movie, but take something like that where it gives maybe some reason why our character is the way they are, our main bad character from our original series. But here, it's like, no, he's a piece of garbage then, and he's a piece of garbage in the Hunger Games. Once we get to like the 75th Hunger Games, for example, he's just a garbage human being, and that really starts when he's a young kid, which is what he is here. He's 18 here, I believe it is. So yeah, it was such a bad movie in virtually every respect for my money. I did not enjoy this one at all. I just didn't care about the characters. Again, we learned virtually nothing really new about Snow. We learned something about Tigress, who we see in one of the later Hunger Games films. You kind of see her when she doesn't have her whole tiger face going on. So, I mean, that was kind of interesting, I guess. But outside of that, man, what an absolute disappointment. What a bad way to end this franchise that otherwise I was enjoying, which we'll kind of talk about as we go here. But anyway, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I will give this one, what did I give it? 1.5 out of 5 stars, I believe, is what I gave this one. Like, this is just not a good movie. So getting into the series proper now, coming in at number 4 is the conclusion of the franchise. This is The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. This was released in 2015, also directed by Francis Lawrence. I am so torn on this film because I loved it leading up to about the final 30 minutes of this. And then I felt that it entirely jumped the shark. Like, you build 3.5 movies up to the end of this, right? And then you just completely go in a weird direction. Like, that's the choice that is made at the end of this franchise. Now, let me throw this out here now, because I didn't mention it earlier. I have read the original Hunger Games trilogy in book form, but I did it like 6 or 7 years ago, and I read them all in about a week's span because I loved them. Frankly, my memory is garbage and I don't remember all that much about them, but I don't remember being let down by the end of it whatsoever, and I absolutely was here. And this is what kills me, and again, spoilers, right? So this is what gets me with this one, is everything kind of happened that I wanted to happen, right? Like, Snow is dead, this, District 13 has taken over, she gets to go about her life and do what she wants to do. I wanted all of that to happen. I didn't necessarily want her sister to die, of course, but I wanted everything else to happen. And leading up to it, it was very obvious that the person leading District 13 was not a good person. Basically, she was just doing what Snow was doing, but kind of for the other side, with all the propaganda tapes and everything like that. And so she wasn't a good person, and I wanted her to fall. And so, again, I'm happy with the way things ended, but just how we get there, right? The bomb drop at the end, and then it just, that's it. And then we're going to jump ahead in time a little bit, and we're going to go through this whole, should we do a Hunger Games with the District 1 and things like that? Like, it's just, why go that route? I was so disappointed by the end of this. And then, of course, at the very, very end, we get another time jump where we see our main characters with their children and everything. So, I mean, that's fine, but man, I loved everything leading up to this. This is a war movie, which I'll talk about more with when I talk about part 1. And I love that aspect of this series. I think it's so cool that it just turns into this war film. And I should say, the visuals look stunning. Like, I think they looked even better than in part 1. It's just a very well-made film. I just hated the way the script took the ending here. So, frankly, it might be a problem of the books, and I just didn't feel that way about it when I read the books or whatever it is. If it's different, let me know, because I just don't remember what the difference is, if there is one. But yeah, this is a really well done movie until those last 30 minutes where it just, like, to me, like I said, I felt like it just jumped the shark, and I was really disappointed by the finale of this. So that ending, that last 30 minutes, doesn't kill the entire franchise for me, but it really hurt this film in particular. So with that said, I will give Mockingjay Part 2 2.5 out of 5 stars. I just feel like there was so much more they could have done with the end of this that they chose not to. Now, I will say, there's a part in here where I swear to God they were referencing the original Resident Evil film. There's like these Descent-like creatures. They're almost zombie-like creatures that come running in. And there's a shot looking down the ladder with our characters trying to climb up with all the creatures surrounding them. To me, that was directly out of a Resident Evil shot. And so that made me think of that, and I loved that. But anyway, that said, 2.5 out of 5 stars, and this one will be my 4th favorite in the franchise. Coming in at number 3 is going to be the second film in the franchise, Catching Fire. So this one is from 2013, and again, directed by Francis Lawrence. So for my money, this is kind of the best relationship building film between Peeta and Katniss, and I love that aspect of it. Really, the only thing that this suffers from is simply the fact that it's the middle film in a trilogy, even though I know that the films are done in 4 parts, but still it's a trilogy of books. And so that's really the only negative I could really cast on this one. I think, just like the rest of the series, the acting is fantastic, but most importantly, it's the characters. And because we get so much of that relationship build here between Katniss and Peeta, it really stands out as just a really great film. And I loved this one because of that. Also, it's the last time in the franchise that we actually get a true Hunger Games. And watching the Hunger Games is one of my favorite parts of this series. Like, I loved watching it both in the original and in the sequel. And this one does it in such an interesting way. We get Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in here to play the game maker, and he does an excellent job. He'll continue on through the rest of the series, of course, and I love his character in this. But trying to unravel what is actually going to happen here, because there's so many kind of like secret collusions, is that the word I'm thinking of? Where people are working together, but secretly, at least behind Katniss's back. And so trying to remember, which again, I don't remember anything from the books. So trying to figure out really what was going to happen here was so much fun. And then it ends on such a bleak note with her shooting the arrow up to the top of the world that they're in this Hunger Games, and it exploding and opening up. And then you get the helicopter. Like, it's just an incredible ending, but it's so very bleak. And again, I love that about it. Like, it sets up the next film so well. And I think that's really the only reason it's not ranked, or it's ranked below the next film, is because of it does such a great job of setting it up that I think the next film takes it to the next level, which is awesome to see. But just such an enjoyable film. I loved this one. I think, again, it's really about the characters in this franchise, for me at least, and watching these two who I love more than any two others in this film, or in this franchise, watching how that relationship really comes in and kind of firms up, I guess would be the best way to say it. So, love this one. I think it's such a well done film. So I'm going to give Catching Fire 4 out of 5 stars, and it ends up at number 3 on my list. So number 2, of course, has to be Mockingjay Part 1, this one from 2014. Directed by Francis Lawrence, as you probably could have guessed by now. But yeah, this is, like I said, it's set up so brilliantly by Catching Fire. So of course this one was going to be enjoyable. And boy, is it. I think this is such an excellent movie. This is another one where, like I talked about with Part 2, it just completely changes what this franchise is with this third film. And it becomes a full-on war movie. And I loved it because of that. The visuals in this are just incredible. The sound design in this movie was impeccable as well. It was absolutely rocking my house. That's one thing I didn't mention about Catching Fire. This one has it eventually goes into the IMAX aspect ratio, which you get on the Blu-ray, but you don't get on the 4K release, which is a real shame because it looks beautiful when it switches over to that IMAX ratio. But anyway, that was a complete tangent. I got talking about the audio and it made me remember that. But yeah, the audio on this is so well done. It's just a film that rocks the house, and it was so enjoyable to watch. I loved the propaganda films in this that they create. It's just, the character of Katniss is so strong, and I think this movie feels even more poignant today than if I watched it a year or two ago, just with everything going on in our real world. Just watching how she handles all these situations, it's like, I want to run through a wall because of her, or for her, I guess I should say. Like, she just does such a great job, and they try to give her a script, but of course she's not going to be able to read off the script, and then something magically happens where she's just able to come up with this incredible speech on the spot, and it always works. It's always poignant, and I loved every minute of it. So I think this is just such a great movie. Another one that I am just so happy that it goes a completely different direction with, because it makes it feel fresh again after watching the first two. So poor Peeta in this one. I love the character of Peeta, and he is just done dirty in this film, which fortunately we get a little bit more of him in the next movie from here, Part 2, and things kind of take a turn, as we already talked about. But boy, he is such an unlikable person here, and I almost got off the Peeta train at that point, right? Because I was like, no, maybe she needs to go with, I forget the other guy's name, but the Hemsworth character, maybe she needs to go with him, but no, we'll keep with Peeta because he's a great character. But yeah, this is just such a great movie. Of course, we find out about District 13. We get the whole war aspect, the war planning that goes on here. It's great. I love this one. So this is another one. I'm going to give Mockingjay Part 1 4 out of 5 stars. Just a great movie. So of course, number one is going to be the original film in the franchise, The Hunger Games from 2012, not directed by Francis Lawrence. This one is directed by Gary Ross. And this is the only film in this franchise that I have seen more than once at this point, and I love it. Every time I've watched this, I have enjoyed it, and I think it just gets better on repeat viewings. I love our characters that are established here. I mean, frankly, the whole rest of the franchise is able to succeed because of the world that is built in this movie. The aesthetic is built here, right? That very dark kind of gray aesthetic that is kind of what it's known for is really started in this film. That post-apocalyptic feel, I guess I should say. And I think they do such a great job with it. Learning who these characters are, learning who Katniss is and Peeta. When Peeta gives her that burnt loaf of bread, like that just establishes who he is as a human, and then that is brought through for the rest of the franchise. I love his character in this, and I think it's acted just perfectly by the entire cast. There are so many memorable characters that are introduced here, and it's just, you can't have the rest of the franchise without a wonderful foundation, and that's exactly what the original Hunger Games does. So for my money, it doesn't get better than the original here. I love this movie, and I had this really cool 3-disc collector set, which frankly, I can't even open. There we go. This really nice set. I want to say this was like a Target exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. But just a really nice set with lots of bonus features on it. So I love this release of it. But anyway, yeah, this is just such an awesome movie that I highly recommend. Obviously, if you're watching this, you've probably already watched all of these movies, but still, go back and revisit this. It's worth it. It holds up now, 13 years later, it still holds up. It's just such a well-done film. So I am going to give The Hunger Games 4.5 out of 5 stars, and this one falls in at number 1 on my ranking list. All right, so that is my list. Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1, Catching Fire, Mockingjay Part 2, and then that atrocious Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I can't even remember the name. That's how little I care about it. But anyway, that's my order, but I know it's not the right order, so I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below. If you've seen this franchise, what is your ranking order of it? If you haven't maybe seen the prequel, that's fine. You are missing literally nothing. I have zero interest. The new book just came out, right? The new prequel, and I think that one takes place like 40 years later? I don't remember exactly. It takes place much closer to the Hunger Games. And so I'm not even interested in checking it out, to be completely honest. I just have no desire to read that one or watch it. But if I'm wrong and the book of the prequels is a lot better, let me know that as well. I would love to revisit this in book form, which I might do because I just enjoyed this world so much. But anyway, I just wanted to talk through, because I watched them, I figured, you know what? Let's do a rank and review of this series. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Kind of all over the place, and I didn't write much of anything down, so hopefully it wasn't too rambly for you. But anyway, thanks for making it all the way to the end here, and leave your ranking order down in the comments below. Before I let you all go, I'll just encourage you all to consume some media today. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you all next time.